One thing you should know if you're trying to improve yourself, or you've just had a spiritual awakening, or you're building a relationship with God, there are toxic people in your life, more than you realize, who will resent you for it. They want to have company while they're living in hell. A lot of people don't want to change for the better. I call it the cult of victimhood. Sometimes being a victim is even more to that than to them. It's like a religion to them. If you think about a cult, they will do anything. Their members, and especially their leader, will do anything to keep you from leaving. They'll get violent. They'll try to shame you. They will try to ruin your livelihood. Anything to either have you back on your knees begging to return, or to just ruin you in the meantime. It's kind of like having a jealous, spurned lover, and it's like they're saying, if I can't have you, then nobody will. I'm not saying miserable people will go to these extremes, but you should be prepared for it. At least some scaled down version of it. You'll notice it a lot in people who stop drinking or doing drugs. They want their drinking buddies, and that's all they are to each other sometimes. I remember I was like that too. When I had some, drinking buddy who decided they were going to dry up, and a couple of them were like, I found God, and I'm not living this hedonistic lifestyle anymore. You don't want that around you at that age, especially when you're younger. It's like that when you're older too, but when you're young, your life is really more about your friends than, your family at that point. You're just out there trying to have fun, and why would you ever want to go to a lifestyle where you see people, let's go to church and let's just talk about our suffering and this and that, and it's like, you haven't been through that much suffering in your life, so you don't know what the hell they're talking about until you've been down on your knees begging the Lord to just take all the pain away, or guide you from this mess you've made of your life. Until you've gotten to that point, and even sometimes it's much farther than that point. You have to get even farther down into the depths of hell before you realize, hey, I'm done with this. I need a deeper purpose in my life, instead of just getting wasted every day and just having a good time because you're wasted. You're out partying. It's fun for a while, and a lot of people are going to go through it at some point in their life. They have a little rebellious stage, and some people will be sucked into it because addiction is so powerful. But you have to seek something bigger in your life. You have to seek that higher power, or it's just going to be the spiral of suffering. The real suffering will hit you like a ton of bricks one day, and you're just going to be humbled. But there will be people, friends, and family's a little bit more complicated, but there will be people who support you no matter what. They want to see you do better in life. Take it from me, somebody who's gone through 4 back surgeries and then a disability. That was the absolute worst time in my life. I was at my lowest. I was on my way to the lowest. I thought I was at the lowest at every single point in my disability, but literally it just kept getting worse and worse and worse for years, almost a decade at least. But from somebody who's been through that, I lost most of my friends, and a lot of that was my fault because I was I literally could not go do anything anymore. I was just in pain all the time. So what are you going to do? I mean, some friends came and visited me, and some stopped visiting me, and only a few stuck around. And those friends are the absolute best. They're the people you want in your life, because no matter what, they're going to stick around. I even saw this. Twice in my life, I've lost about 100 pounds. Once I lost more than that, probably about 120 or 30. And the people around me who were most of my friends were just my drinking and partying buddies. And as I was improving myself, as I was working out and taking the nights to go run instead of going out to the bars and get wasted, there were so many people just trying to be like, come on, do you really just want to go running? Why don't you just come and have some drinks instead? It's okay. It's not going to affect you. Well, for me, I was on a mission. When I get laser focused on something, I have to do it. So I just had to stick with my routine, or I was going to be knocked off of it, maybe permanently. But those people who were trying to get me to stop and get back in the bar, or back, doing whatever, partying all the time, those people, they were the people that just try to bring you down. It happens if you improve yourself in any way, there's people who, I think they feel shame in their life. You're like, look at this guy going out running at night instead of drinking with us. Well, who does he think he is? He think he's better than us. And in the back of their mind, they know that their time would be better served doing something positive like that, but they're going to shame you. Now, I'm not saying going and partying with your friends is bad. It's great from time to time. Just don't make your life about it. I mean, you have to go blow off steam, go have fun. And you know what? Drinking, if you can handle it and won't get addicted, if you won't become an alcoholic or something, it's great. Go out and have a good time. It's a great social lubricant, passing the joint around, talking about just whatever weird crap goes through your head. It's a fun time. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But when you get older, you learn moderation. But anyway, what I was trying to say is the friends who were trying to suck me back down into the same old cycle of negativity and unhealthiness, those were the people who shouldn't be your friend in the first place. You should have friends who support you no matter what. And when I lost all that weight the second time, because the first time I was only 14, the second time I lost all that weight, I was in my early 20s, and a lot of my friends saw what I was doing, and they went. I've had, I think, at least 5 or 6 friends I knew who went and did the exact same thing I did. I told them, I was like, this is great. I mean, I feel better than I've ever felt, physically, and it's amazing. And I had self-confidence for the first time in my life, and it was great. And they saw that, and they were like, good for you. And they went and they did it themselves, and they found, wow, you're right. I have amazing self-confidence, and I feel amazing. I have energy all the time. It's those friends that you want. They can either take an example from you, and they support you no matter what you do. They see you doing something positive, and they're like, right on, man. Like, even if they can't do that in their own life, or in my case with the disability, maybe they saw themselves, hey, this could happen to me, because it can happen to anyone. Anyone at any moment can be injured and disabled and just their lives turned upside down. It's awful. But your true friends, the ones you want around you, support you no matter what. And that's the same with any kind of self-improvement, having a relationship with God, or spiritual awakenings. All those are exactly the same. Now, don't be the person who's going around being like preaching to everybody all the time either. Nobody wants that. Even I don't want that now, and I'm a very spiritual and I love religion and everything. I would probably appreciate it more than most people, but it does get annoying. Nobody wants to hear about your spiritual awakening all the time. I barely ever talk to anyone about it unless it comes up in conversation somehow, because people feel like you're talking down to them. They feel like if you're sitting there bragging about something, then it's probably not as genuine, even though you might be excited. Oh, I just had this spiritual awakening and I found God and I'm in touch with the universe and all this stuff. You have to wait for the right context for these things to come up. It is not something you just go start talking to people about, because first of all, most people don't want to hear it, because only like 5% of the people in the world will have any kind of spiritual experience, or I should say spiritual awakening. I can't remember the study I looked at, but so 95% of the people don't give a damn, But you can lead them positively, is what I'm saying. You can show them, hey, look how happy I am, and if they pursue you and be like, why are you so happy when you clearly were at rock bottom, just a year ago, and you can tell them, here's what happened to me. I'm not pushing it on you. I'm not doing anything like that, but I'm showing you how amazing I feel, and that maybe you should do that too. Maybe find your own path to a spiritual awakening, or building a relationship with God, or just even improving yourself in any way, losing weight or whatever. But the bottom line is, for your friends and your family's a little bit different, just because it's some of the people in your family you can't get away from. And obviously if it's somebody like your kids or whatever, or your partner, or even your parents, then it's probably somebody you're not going to not want in your life. Maybe you do. Maybe hopefully not your kids. You got to take responsibility there. But maybe it's the person's that toxic that you can't deal with them anymore. But you'll find, if you have a relationship with God, that you're unshakable. But if you're just doing like self-improvement, like getting healthy, and you have maybe a spouse that's jealous of that, or bitter that you've lost all this weight and you're looking good now, and they're still stuck in that, I'm eating junk food nonstop and I'm getting fat and I don't want to change because I like being the victim, then that's going to be a tough one. You have to decide whether it's more important to give in to their self-pity and their victimization or self-victimization, or improving yourself. And I'm telling you, improving yourself, and especially finding your spirituality and your relationship with God, are the most important thing. And the reason your spirituality and all of that are the most important things is because that is going to change your life. Finding your purpose in life is literally the meaning. It gives your life meaning. It gives you hope in every situation. It helps you find an inner peace that lasts through every tragedy and suffering and everything. So you have to try to be stronger than the toxic people in your family. And hopefully you can hold on to them, and hopefully you can inspire them to finally make a change. But if they're stubborn and not going to change, then you're probably going to be drawn or just split apart from each other at some point. But try to make it work if you can. Just don't sacrifice your happiness, your peace, and especially your relationship with God. Nobody is more important than that. Definitely not even yourself. That is the most important thing. If God is calling you to do something, do not ignore him. Okay, we'll talk to you soon. God bless.